just saying to Mungo outside that we did a micro-budget feature, and when I told him what our budget was, he said, well, it must be a nano budget then, because...
Well below that.
Which is fantastic, and it looks great. You've done a... You know, what did you actually shoot it on? What did you...
That was shot for $4 grand.
Unbelievable, yeah. I mean, it seems really achievement, really achievement.
That does deserve an applause.
So, one of the things that impressed me about the film was the way the characters, the dialogue of the characters, I thought was really natural. And I just wondered how much of that was scripted, how much of that was ad-lib, what was your process there?
Well, that was a big part of how probably I got these actors involved, is because it was the script was written as descriptions of scenes, but no dialogue was written in, so it was kind of the ideas, the thoughts and emotions, and then it was passed over with workshops and stuff to the actors to develop the characters, to create the dialogue, and I think they actually did that's why it's a very collaborative film, because they brought so much to the characters and to the story in general because of that process, I think.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, Daniel, I don't know if you'd like to talk about that, because I thought you know, in particular, when the turmoil you were having inside, and the dialogue you were having was excellent, really came through. So I just wondered what your process was of bringing that character to life.
No, yeah, thanks. I mean, what happened was Mungo wrote me a letter. I think he sent me in some work. We met up at Bar Italia, and
always a good place to meet.
Yeah, always a good place to meet. You know,
2 a.m. was it?
My little hunting ground. It was about 4 a.m. actually.
Yeah, exactly.
About the 15th cappuccino. But no, I love the synopsis, and I love Mungo. You know, I got on really well with Mungo, and I looked at the synopsis, and I've been in the States for a few years, and you know, I wanted to go to work, go back to a European kind of film, and I looked at this, I thought, you know, I'm going to put my sleeves up and go to work on this, and I just sort of, you know, got the character. We talked about it. Like, there wasn't much, you know, rehearsal too much. We just basically, it wasn't like a Mike Lee process where, you know, they workshop it. But, you know, Mungo had the whole script, you know, he had the whole thing. So, you know, I was working through him, really, you know. And, you know, it was a great fun way to work. You know, it was really sort of a very soulful way. I needed it. It was very cathartic for me, you know, because most scripts are pages 120, sure. You've got it, blah, blah, blah. This was a very, you know, he was very gentle with the whole thing. And, you know, I just enjoyed it.
Right, as I've got a mic to give to Simeon, I'm going to ask you, same sort of question really, again, very natural. I thought the character reminded me of a couple of acquaintances of mine, and yeah, it was cool. I really liked the way you sort of kept us on the edge. I was never really sure where you were going to go with it. I wasn't, you know, obviously you had this bond with him, and you were sort of going, yeah, we want to be, I want to show you the love, I want some love back, but there was always this underlying thing, wait, what is he going to do, what's he going to do? He's going to like, there's going to be a massive balls up in sooner or later. So again, same thing to you really. What was the process for yourself?
I came into it was it quite late or not really? I don't know.
Ball rolls.
Ball rolls. And yeah, I met Mungo at the Arcola, and I was inspired by his attitude towards the film process.
Yeah.
The script was something I hadn't done before, that sort of character. We met up quite a bit in Chelsea, cafe, tending to live the dream. Talked about our character backgrounds, you know, where we'd been, where we were going. It wasn't to mention too much, but your brother, character's brother, was like my best friend, and he died from a drug overdose shortly after he went to prison. But and I looked up to you know, his character as my kind of surrogate big brother type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, and the rest, as I said, wasn't much rehearsal. It was just on the day, just reacting and just being totally in character.
Yeah. What was the filming? How long were you filming for? What was it? The film period?
I think it was 20 days.
20 days. Amazing. And saying about the surrogate thing, I need to ask, Chloe, if had you met before? Have you known each other for a long time, or
no?
Really?
I was just going to say, we actually met. The first day that we met was the day we shot the scene where I first met him.
You're joking?
So it was very, Very real.
Yeah, because it felt really, and then as you sort of, your characters progressed through the story, it felt like you were bonding. I just thought, oh, they must have known each other years, because it felt...
No, and that was what was nice actually, because the way that Mungo worked was we worked on the scenes, and I knew I was going to meet him, and I had heard about him loads, but I hadn't actually met him, didn't know who he was. But then as we filmed, we did spend more and more time together, and we talked a little bit about some of the scenes. So yeah, our relationship grew as the characters' relationships grew, which was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I really liked that story. I think that story was really cool, and it felt very real.
That was the kind of thing as well, though, because I think you even said you didn't want to meet him. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Oh, really?
You kept it so that it was like as spontaneous as the emotion you would get meeting someone.
I think that's the best thing about working that way. You want to keep it. If you can keep it that way, then it works really well.
Yeah, it works really well. I thought it worked really well. So I'm going to carry on with a few more questions, ladies and gentlemen, then I will be thrown out to the audience. So start thinking now, so we can get some good questions. Second feature? Is that right? Second feature you had...
I know this is my first feature.
First feature, so the film before was a short, because I haven't seen that one. So we were talking again about the process of making a feature, and the amount of time and effort that goes into a short is not much less than doing a feature. So is that what drove you to do your first feature? Or?
Well, it's the way that we've got now equipment that we can use anytime, basically. We're not as dominated by needing to have a large amount of money every day to operate our machine. Yeah. And we've also got the capability, like I also have to say a big thank you to Lee and Sam who are here, who were like literally the only other two people that helped out on the film, really.
Yeah, great guy, great job, guys.
Seriously super soldiers, mate.
It does look, it looks amazing.
Well, we've got the chance now to do as we want to do, I think, which is a very interesting period of time. And I think it's that there are so much less boundaries to making films that now we can really begin to try to understand what makes good films, I think. So it gives a lot more people opportunities. I think we'll see a lot more interesting films, maybe some really terrible ones, but I'm sure that's all part of us learning about life, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. And talking about learning about life, when it's a great story. I like the turmoil right the way through. So where does that come from? Is that a personal experience? Is this, do you know people in this environment, or is it just a...
Well, it's that idea of change, I think, is a big thing for everybody, in the sense that we grow and we become many different people throughout our lives, I would imagine. And it's that kind of process of change and redemption, and in a way the prison ideas, are a metaphor for the things that we are all kind of quite chained, I believe, into ways of being, and the society shaping us and directing us. And I guess it's just a process of us exploring that, and I suppose, obviously, I must be a guy in very much inner turmoil.
You love him, it's great, isn't it? Right, I'm going to ask one more question, and then I'm going to throw it up to you guys. That's just, you wrote, produced, and edited as well.
And filmed it, I think.
Yeah. So you got, there was a lot of credits.
Sound as well.
I've got a couple of good friends of mine are editors, and they say that because of the the process you're talking about now, the digital process, you can film a lot of stuff. They're saying that the editing is becoming a lot more important, because filmmakers now, if they're not used to filming in 35mm, just like banging in loads of shots all the time. Did you find that? And also, if you did find that, then your editing as well, what was the...
Well, I could do all of these things because that's my jobs in life. So I've learned doing very mundane things, lots of ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But I've begun everything as an editor, so watching editing, I think, is probably the best way to learn directing in a way, because you get to learn a lot of other directors' rights and wrongs and watch them before you go and do it yourself, I guess. So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that's what allows me, and I think our generation of filmmakers, is that we are people who will work in an industry, go out and film, but now we also can use those skills to tell stories and explore things, and I think that's actually, we're in a really exciting time for film, personally.
Yeah, great. Okay, so have we got any questions from the audience, please? Yes.
Did you write it, direct it, DOP and edit it?
Yeah, maybe produce it as well.
Oh wow. Maybe.
No, it's not the way I would love to work, but it's the way it had to work.
Yeah, that's true. You bet you sleepless nights all the time. Any other questions? Yes.
Did the structure change much in the edit from the synopsis, or is it something that you played around with?
So did the structure change more in the edit?
No, that's really interesting because actually, little changes in the structure, but the structure was kind of the skeleton, and it was all the insides which grew, but the structure kind of stayed quite similar actually. And that was the thing which in all my other short films, I've never done a straight line structure, so it was kind of time moved in a straight line, which felt, yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting.
Did you film it in a linear way, or did you?
Not linear, but there were, like we did with certain, like with the character relationships in the real life, there were moments where we would film the things where people first met first, sort of thing. So
yeah.
You kind of got that energy
Yeah.
of a meeting first. And one thing Daniel actually was very interesting when we were doing workshops was talking about the way that even when you do rehearsals, you can become quite used to doing a performance, and you might find certain ways of doing it, and often the first takes or the first things, even rehearsals, they're the real raw energy.
Yeah.
So this project was sort of an experiment of keeping everything on that moment.
And Daniel, how did you feel that went then? If you're, that way of working, you think that
I loved
delivered?
it. Yeah, you don't get that chance. As I say, you normally get 120 pages or whatever, and to work this way is very, very rare. For someone to do a feature this way is great, because you get your character, you do your sort of stuff, and you just let it fly. You try, and it works or it doesn't work. You hope it works.
Yeah.
And that's what the director guides you. He just says, okay, let's. But as I said, it was very gentle with Mungo. He just let it go. It was like there was no big histrionics. It was just trusted you, just let you go. And it felt like just riffing.
Yeah.
Very gentle. There was none of that sort. When you get these big sets sometimes, they're great as well. You've got the whole, everybody's tense, everybody's stressed, you know what I mean? So you can feel all that ego around and stuff, and it's great as well. I mean, it's just a different way of working. Just to have Mungo and the sound guy. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
And then with the narrative, your narrative, sort of at the top when you're in turmoil, you did that. How long after? Did you just do that in one straight take afterwards when you had the film all put together, or did you do that as you went as well?
Voiceovers?
Yeah.
They weren't written down either. They kind of came right at the end. They were kind of a punctuation, really.
Because they're really quite profound. There's a lot of really cool stuff in that, yeah.
They always work, don't they?
Yeah, it was good. Right, sorry, I'm getting involved again. Any more questions, please? Yes, at the back?
Standing up just so I can see you when I ask the question. Bearing in mind what you're saying about the prison being a metaphor for life and the kind of changes that we all go through, I got that all the way through the film. So what was the significance of Daniel ending the changes that his friends were going through and taking on that sort of like God role, like, I see you tormented, I'm going to finish you off. But when he threw the gun away, he must have known that his fingerprints were on it.
Well, it was it's interesting because the film is all about redemption, but his act at the end is sort of a no way out thing, isn't it? And I think his is in a sense the damaged beast, the thing that is in a sense not meant for this place at the moment in time, I think. A warrior man maybe, but I think that's the thing of, it's that redemptive aspect. And then the final image is the doomed character. We were considering having an image of, I think actually that was in the script, the final image was George and Chloe were in Spain. It was an image of them hitchhiking down the road, but it was actually cut, not even because of budget, it was just cut. It's not really played grateful of, kept the money down.
So Chloe, would you rather have ended up in Spain the way you were going?
It would have been nice.
That's why she signed up.
No, I think think the ending, remember the first time I saw it, because I didn't really know much about Mungo or his filmmaking, but when I first met Mungo, it was all about ideas. That's what I loved. And then when we saw the first cut, and I was, with the whole film, when it got to the ending, I was choking up, because at the end, it's just seeing the relationship, because did you, like, the two of you, did you know each other film beforehand? Didn't actually know this?
No.
No. Well, they have like a brotherly
Yeah,
relationship.
completely.
We couldn't
completely.
stand each other.
Yeah, that's what gets you at the end, I think, which is why, I mean, the relationship father-daughter carries an importance in the story, but at the end, it's that really gets you. So I think wicked ending.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I mean, you know, when you work out, you know, you guys knew each other. The way, and also I was going to say, Simeon, the way you become more and more frantic and anxious, and you really felt that as you were going through. I mean, how did you work on that? How did you get that energy going through, making yourself? You were getting more and more frightening, and you were more volatile all the way through. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just living the character, really, living the situation, knowing the story, knowing what was going on, working with Daniel. Yeah, just being in the moment. It was really liberating working like that.
It was interesting actually when you say that, because it was when everyone works in this way, I think everyone works differently a bit. So it's kind of a customizing for each person how you do it. And I think you were interesting, gave an insight to me, because you were wanted to know the positions of things and what came next. And it's sort of, that's an interesting, from my perspective, to know what you need to know to bring what you need, the kind of right tone, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's an example where you get the build-up of that kind of intensity, that franticness, because you know at what moment you're in, isn't it?
Exactly that. Yeah.
The other thing I liked was the Irish guy character as well.
He was actually really scary in real life.
Was he?
Well, we didn't invite him.
But he was good. I mean, he was obviously very good.
Actor.
He was fantastic. Yeah, he was. And again, that was another level that was really fun. I also liked the way when you did the wife coming, the mother came in as well. I thought that was a really cool. Very very true to life. You know, you sort of experience these sort of situations. I thought it was great the way it came across. Right, any more questions, please? Yeah. No, I think that's it. Right, so I'm just going to. There's one more about the last one, please. How long from the actor seeing the synopsis to the shooting?
Good
How long?
question.
6 weeks, 7 weeks.
6 weeks?
Me, not long. Maybe three weeks, maybe. It's a long time.
Maybe it was
That's a
4.
long time. Could have been a day.
Very last question.
Do you always work this way without script, or is this the first time?
I did a short which had no dialogue in it as well, and that was with, it's very specific types of actors I think have to want to do that, and I worked with them, they were French, and then through the same person I met Daniel, so he's of that same school, and then I met these guys and they kind of showed the passion for it, so that's what it is. It's really finding people that want to work in that way. Because I think other actors also find it very disconcerting with the lack of structure, even the lack of a crew can make them kind of doubt what they're doing or something, I'm not sure. So everyone for their horses for courses, isn't it?
Definitely. Right, so we just have a little bit of fun. We normally do at the end of our Genesis Q&As, and we steal the Bernard Pivot questions. So these are just off the cuff. He doesn't know about these either, so answer them as seriously or as fun as you like. What is your favourite word?
Rejection.
What is your least favourite word?
Success.
What turns you on?
My wife.
And what turns you off?
Probably myself.
What sound or noise do you love?
Nothing.
And what sound or noise do you hate?
A few of the glitches in my film.
That's a good one, I like that one. What is your favourite curse word?
C-U-N-T.
Okay. And what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
There's probably none out there for me, I'm
That's
sorry.
a good answer. What profession would you not like to do?
Probably this one.
These are good, these are. And the last one. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear your God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mungo and the crew.